Yeah, when he was ready to kill me the other day in the huddle. I think it was rightfully, it's a right reaction, I think.
Did you think the goaltend was obvious, like even it live, I guess?
Yeah, live it looked like a goaltend. I haven't seen the replay, but live it looked like a goaltend. I don't know for sure. I haven't seen the replay.
It kind of seemed like the sideline really started to get going after, I guess, the non-continuation on the staff. I mean, was it a string of calls, or did you feel it was just kind of the goaltend?
Oh, those were back-to-back plays. That's 5 points. It's tough to make up 5 points at that point in the game. But our group kept fighting, so that's what we got to do in that situation. We did. It's unfortunate we couldn't come out with the win.
I was going to say, how are you leaving this game feeling like y'all generally played?
Thought we played well. We couldn't hit shots. We missed a lot of shots that we normally make or can make. We missed. But we took care of the ball. We defended without fouling. I thought we did a lot of good things, but we forced turnovers. We didn't capitalize enough in a game where you force 20 turnovers, have 7 turnovers. We probably should have 130, 140. But it's unfortunate. Some nights the ball just don't go in, but I think the lesson for us is to know that there are going to be those nights. And what do you have to do to give yourself a chance to win? And I think the blueprint is right there. Defend, take care of the ball, and give yourself a chance.
Draymond, right here. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Draymond, talk about the physicality between you and Zubac, and then also, how was the reaction when Steph went out? How you guys hung in there to finish out the game?
Physicality with Zubac is always at a high level when you play against these guys. It's a very, very big body, and he doesn't shy away from contact. So it's always a very physical game going up against him. Zubac's been at it for a while, but he's still young. I enjoy playing against the young, good bigs in this league. They challenge you, And as I get older in my career, I embrace and look forward to those challenges. So it's always physical when I go up against him, but there's a mutual respect there as well. So it's all good. And then Steph got us there. So you can't just let go of the rope. Once he goes out, he did what he had to do. It's unfortunate that he picked up his 6th, but he gave us a shot. So for us, it's important to try to finish it. I think, we gave ourselves a chance, came down to the last shot, we missed it. That happens.
How you feeling physically?
I'm beat the f*** up. I'm beat the hell up right now. But I'll be all right on Wednesday. Give me a day tomorrow to get my body back together, but I'm a little beat up right now.
Is that accumulation of the season, or is that just the crashing into the bench and then that?
No, I crashed into the bench and knocked a rib out. Then right after that, I rolled my ankle. I fell on my wrist and hurt my left wrist. So it's just an accumulation of this game.
Dre, so speaking of that, you've been doing this for 14 years. You wore a lot of different hats for this team, heart and soul, being the facilitator, the team defender. What does that really go to as far as your determination, your mentality, your physicality? Can you kind of explain what that does for you and your teammates when you have a person like you on the team?
I think, my demeanor, my presence, I think, my team feed off of it. I always try to take it upon myself to be the guy that bring the level of physicality to this group, bring the energy that it takes to win high-level basketball games to the floor for this team. Play with a guy like Steph my whole career, and he blessed me with a target like Jimmy. I got to have an opportunity to play with Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson. you get those guys the ball, you know. I've always, well, my uncle had me play point guard when I was a kid, so I've always saw the floor from a different view than maybe most big men. So I try to make sure I'm bringing that to the floor, just getting other guys involved, using my IQ to see different things to try to pick the defense apart. Just always try to just bring positive influence to the floor, but defensively, offensively, in whatever way that is. Some nights it's to score, some nights it's to pass, some nights it's to rebound, some nights it's to defend, some nights it's all of them. But I just try to do my best to be a net positive when I'm on the floor.
I think it's a little underappreciated what you do.
I think most people that watch basketball don't really know it. So I don't know if it's necessarily underappreciated, because those that watch and know basketball appreciate it. I think those that don't know just don't see it. But I don't really charge that to lack of appreciation. I think that's more of a lack of knowledge, you know. So, but I don't get off into who appreciates it or who doesn't. I just try to win basketball games and be great for my teammates, and they appreciate it, so that's enough for me.
You guys had won 6 of 8 heading into tonight. You have 8 straight home games coming up. You know, January 15th and the deadline are coming up. How do you feel like you guys are playing from a big picture standpoint, and how do you view the upcoming stretch?
You know, when you come into these seasons, the hope is that from the very beginning it goes great, and then it continues to go great, and you just grow and grow and grow. That's the hope. The reality is it's an 82-game season, and some parts of it are trash, some parts of it are great, some parts of it you kind of just getting by and trying to figure it out. Quite honestly, where I think we are right now, I think we are getting better. I think if I look at where we were a month and a half ago to where we are today, I think our defense has improved. I think our offense has improved. I think, you know, our coaching staff has gotten a grip of the rotations and the combinations that fit. And so I think you know, we're starting to turn a corner. And I think, you know, as long as you continue on that path, your record will eventually show that. You know, so I think for the most part, we're in a pretty good spot. We can play a lot better, which we know, but most importantly, I think we're growing. And as long as you're growing through the 82-game season, the odds usually end in your favor.
Hey, Draymond, back here. You're one of the, you know, on this team, you're one of the older statesmen, but you mentioned KD, Clay, guys like that who are having success in this league. When it comes to just the older players, LeBron, what do you think has led to kind of like some of the older guys being able to stick around and be as successful as you guys have?
Oh, I think if, you know, Sam, if you knew better, you do better, you know? And I think there's a heightened sense of how to take care of the body today than there necessarily was back in the day. And not to lack of, you know, those guys willing to do it. You just know more. You know, we know so much more. There's so much more science and all these things that go into it now that, you know, I know exactly what I need tomorrow to get ready for Wednesday. Even 7 years ago, I feel bad for the guys who played 20 years ago, because even 7 years ago, I didn't, you know, and, you know, it wasn't for a lack of guys trying to figure out. You just didn't have all the knowledge and numbers and all the things that you do today. And so we're lucky to be playing at a time where we have some of the greatest sports science people in this league that on a daily is telling you what you need, you know, and then you start to figure it out, you know, and you add more as you go. And, you know, so I think we're all, you know, I'm in year 14. You got, Steph in 17, James in 17, KD in 18, 19, 19, Bron in 23. It's incredible, you know. But what those, James, everybody always don't talk about James when they talk about guys getting up there in years. I did just mention James, huh? But Kawhi, 16? Like, so I tend not to try to put myself in a category with those guys. I got a couple more years, but man, it's an honor to be able to play at a high level as guys get older in this league, and I think that'll just keep going and going. I don't think like you're going to see this group of guys and be like, all right, man, this group went to 17, 18, 19, 20 years playing at a high level. I think you're going to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing at a high level in year 17. So I think that's going to keep going. And I think over time, we'll have to start to reevaluate what's prime age in this league, because you used to get to 30, 31, and you're like, all right, now, that's not the case anymore, So it usually takes us as humans time to transition and, look at things a little differently. But I think, as these years continue to go on, what used to be a prime is going to be looked at totally different than it was before.
Thank you.